ran a decade.
And how many Russians were deported for that?
Sure, if memory serves, 10 or 11, but I'm not certain on that number.
Pretty good case that you worked on it. Good job.
Yes.
Did you work on Russia primarily when you were at the FBI in that area?
At that period, early on, yes.
Are there some things you can tell us about the Russians that maybe we should know before the president meets with Mr. Putin, his very good friend, and maybe he comes out and say anything bad about?
Well, sir, I can speak to my experience as a national security professional in the FBI. The Russians are a top-rate adversary in terms of their foreign intelligence service, in terms of how competently they're able to use their intelligence service to achieve their foreign policy and national security goals. Many of which you referenced, their desire, the threat from NATO, trying to undermine the Western alliance, trying to minimize the role and influence and leadership of the United States around the world, attempting to minimize and undermine the extraordinary greatness of our democracy, to make it seem pedestrian and nothing special and on par with their kleptocracy and near dictatorship that they have to somehow make us seem less. But that's my intelligence perspective. I wouldn't presume to get into a foreign policy.
They engage occasionally in assassination of political rivals?
Yes.
And arrest of journalists for maybe talking and writing about things that the state doesn't believe in?
Yes.
It's not America.
Not at all.
Well, that's unfortunately what the Mueller investigation is looking into, is Russian collusion to influence our election and to influence our politics. And you have dedicated your life to working against that type of involvement and against that type of effort to subvert our democracy and to undermine it. I thank you for that. It's astonishing to me that you would be put on trial as you have today. The beginning of this discussion, this committee meeting, somebody said, we don't want young people to look at the front pages constantly and see things about the FBI that's putting the FBI and the Justice Department in questions and on the front page. Well, I would submit to this committee that the people who are putting that on the front page is this committee, and the people who won't accept what the investigator general said, that there was no bias involved in the actions of you or others that were investigated. There was found no evidence that the conclusions by the prosecutors were affected by bias or other improper considerations. Rather, we determined they were based on the prosecutor's assessment of the facts, the law, and past department practice. With that as a fact, there's no reason for this hearing. No reason at all. But it puts it on the front page again and again and again. And as you said earlier, the Russians are loving it because this is what they want. This is what they want. You'd think it was Benghazi. It was a never-ending television show from Congress that got nowhere except tried to influence the people that watch Fox News. And that's what this is about. And this is really unfortunate. And as they say, you put lipstick on a pig, but this is nothing but a ruse to try to get to the Mueller investigation and make people think it's baseless, that it's biased, that it's 13 Democrats that are working on this, and they're prejudiced and they're discriminatory and they're biased because they, just as Jack Nicholson said in the movie, A Few Good Men, you can't handle the truth. And the truth is, this is the most corrupt administration ever, and it's going to be exposed by Robert Mueller. Thank God. I yield back, and I thank you.
The gentleman from Tennessee yields back. The gentleman from Ohio is recognized.
Thank you, Chairman. Agent Struck, did you provide any information to reporters, journalists, or media personalities about anything related to Trump-Russia investigation in 2016, 17, or 18?
No.
Did the press ever talk to you, Agent Struck, about this issue? Did they ever come to you?
The Trump-Russia collusion investigation?
Did the press ever come to you? I'm asking first, did you talk to them? I'm asking now, did they ever come to you about anything related to Trump-Russia investigation in 2016, 2017, or 2018?
I received a number of calls from various members of the media, particularly when I returned from the Office of Special Counsel. In every instance,
prior to going on the Special Counsel team, did you get any inquiries from the press that you took?
Not that I took. I referred them to the Office of Public Affairs.
Have you read the dossier?
I have.